Hello, everyone. Let's see. Is the microphone on? It looks like I'm a little delayed in terms of the broadcast. Good. Welcome aboard, David Mickelson. Congratulations on being first. Right after Tracy, Marcy, Stephanie, Deidre, Cindy, Jennifer, Tracy again, Jennifer again. Congratulations, all of you, on your firstness. What a busy week. Can I just say, it's good to be here. It is, even though the studio lights are out at the Ad House Studios, and there's reason for that, and I'll get to that later. But I have big breaking news. Do you want the big breaking news right off the top, or should I tease it and come back later with it? So I'll let you guys decide that. If you want to hear the big breaking news now, say now. If you want to hear it later, so that more people can see it, then we'll do that later. Hi, Michelle. Christopher, good to see you. This was an interview that Trump did on Monday, with Just the News, Real America Voice, David Brody. Okay, people want to hear the news now. All right, here is the big news. Two things. One, I'm getting married. Two, maybe someday. I don't know. There's no plans right now involving marriage, but I mean, it's a possibility. That is not the big news. That's called a tease. I'll tell you about the big news later. We'll wait for more people to come on board if they want to hear it. And Michelle just chimes in with now. Twitter's a little bit delayed. It looks like YouTube is coming in at like 3 or 4 seconds. So this is going to be the Trump interview with David Brody. I'm actually very busy. Yeah, we're going to Disneyland, Tracy. I'm very busy right now with what's going on, and I'll share that information with you later. No, Michelle, I'm not. Michelle, everybody on Twitter right now is like 30 seconds behind everybody on YouTube, and it's making for an interesting chat for me, and that's what truly matters. This is an interview. This is not an interview. This is portions of the interview. We're going to take a look at this interview, just snippets of it, and we will discuss it and create a town hall with your comments and my commentary in the interest of fair use education of a political nature. So we will be fact-checking as we go along the way. I have heard little bits of this, and the way that I edited it is I had to listen to little tiny things of what Donald Trump said, and then we moved on, because as a former blogger, what he says is relevant. I guess he's back on Gab, or on Gab for the first time. He's not on Twitter. He's still not on Facebook. Thank you, Deirdre. So we'll talk about that more later, but let's get right into the interview. If you would like to see this whole interview, you can check out Real America's Voice. They have an app. I don't know if you're able to watch it that way. I don't know. But this is not the whole interview. If you'd like to see it, there are probably ways to see it on YouTube or otherwise, or on their site, on their app. Just the News is a John Solomon venture. So you are welcome to go and seek out the entire interview in context. This is Twitter Live, Michelle, but Twitter's about 30 seconds behind. So let's get going with this. We have... let's see. This is a short interview. Trump essentially just he said hello, goodbye, and I won the election in between a bunch of times. So this is about 6 minutes and 33 seconds worth of interview. We'll stretch it out to be about a half an hour, and then I'll get back to what I'm doing right now, because it's more important than you guys. It's not. I don't have a choice. Anyway, shot a commercial the last couple of days. If you saw the pictures on Twitter, I was very badly injured, but it was all makeup. And it was a lot of fun. Good people. So we'll see what happens with that. And not a big commercial, just like a local commercial. But happy to do it.
You admitted defeat in the 2020 election when you said we didn't win. Is that an act?
Okay, so the news was, because we watched the Sean Hannity interview last week, and he did say we didn't win. He admitted that he didn't win the election. We heard that, and at the time I pointed that out. Nope. Hi, producer Joanna. Good to see you.
Accurate headline. Did you admit defeat? I just want to understand that.
No, I never admitted defeat.
He did say we didn't win. We didn't win the election. That's what he said. We watched it together I'm not going to go and hash it out because, quite frankly, he's boring at this point. But I hope he sticks around. I hope he continues to destroy the Republican Party from within.
A lot of things happening right
Hi, at random.
now. I think
You guys, you missed the big news that I reported a little bit ago. Hi, D-Nice. This is the interview from several days ago, which I tried to capture and couldn't capture. Then I was able to capture it and save it, but it's not the whole interview. It's just snippets of the interview. If you'd like to see the full interview, you can seek it out on Real America's Voice. I guess Google it and see what you can find. This is just snippets. I did not say that JoJo and I were getting married. That is not the big news. Now I said fake news is what I said, and now everyone apparently is going to get in on the act here. So good times. But I will be sharing what's going on personally a little later in the broadcast.
that was an election that was. I don't think. All you have to do is read the newspapers and
That is correct. He does not think.
see what's coming out now. No, I never. The word is concede. I have not conceded.
He is very conceited. Just for the record, judges agree.
What should happen?
So this is later. Now, the sound on the interview does not sync up at all. And I tried to correct it, but it's all over the place. It's off of Real America's Voices website. So just ignore that. And of course, Donald's sound effects do not sync up at all because his lips are closed the entire time.
In your mind, if Arizona and Georgia come back with fully verified evidence of voter fraud, what do you think should happen?
Well, I think they will come back with that, and I think other states are also going to come back with that.
So they have done multiple recounts in the state of Arizona, in all the states, actually. Specifically in the state of Georgia is what I wanted to address. And their Secretary of State, Brad Waffleberger, I believe, he said in an interview the other day that two dead people did vote. They didn't actually vote, but people tried to fraudulently vote. Two people. Remember, that's the same guy that Trump called and said, hey, can you find me 11,000 votes? Two dead people. Meanwhile, the Republicans, Donald Trump's camp, claimed... No, Secretary of State Brad Wafflesberger, he is a Republican. He's an engineer, and he just runs numbers. And quite honestly, I don't agree with all the guy's opinions, but I trust the guy because he ran a free and fair election. And the ballots have been hand counted multiple times, and they match exactly what the machines say. So yeah, the Trump camp was saying there were thousands of dead people who voted in Georgia. And in every election, there's one or two per state. For example, in Pennsylvania, there were two people that we know of that voted using their dead mother and tried to vote for Trump. And then there are always people who vote and then die before the election happens. Usually by absentee ballot. They tend to be older. Older people tend to be the ones that die. Not always. But anyway, that happens in every election too. But not enough to affect any race whatsoever. David Mickelson says the machine is a lie. I rage against that, David. By the way, if you haven't heard, Rudy Giuliani had his license to practice law taken away today by the state of New York. And that just makes a good day. Hey, Petra, good to see you.
And it's going to be determined what's going to happen. That's not up to
It's going to be determined what's going to happen. That is correct.
me. That's up to the public. That's up to...
Hold on.
Arizona and Georgia come back with fully verified evidence of voter fraud. What do you think should happen?
Well, I think they will come back with that, and I think other states are also going to come back with that. And it's going to be determined what's going to happen. That's not up to me. That's up to the public.
It's not up to the public. Not the last election's already been done. The public decided that Donald Trump shouldn't be president.
It's up to a lot of people, I guess, but
Not up to a lot of people. There is no constitutional remedy for putting Trump back into office unless he runs again in 2024 and gets elected into office. There's no reinstitution. It doesn't exist. It's not a thing in our Constitution.
If the election was determined to be a fraud, and it's looking more and more like...
Joanna's planning a wedding? I haven't been invited. So, I mean, yeah, as long as it's not like on a day when I have something else to do, sure. What kind of food are we talking? Because if it's baklava, I'm in.
Like that is the case. I mean, people are going to have to make a determination as to what's going to happen.
Yeah, okay. People are going to have to make a determination. There's nothing to determine. The public does not determine in August. Or, by the way, Mike Lindell, who came up with the whole... Well, no. Many people apparently have come up with this whole August reinstatement of Trump nonsense. Mike Lindell is now saying that it has to be pushed off a little bit. So it's not going to happen in August. So just you keep waiting. A destination wedding? You can't travel right now. What are you, crazy? Producer Joanna, if you are having a wedding... Oh, wait, are you planning a wedding for yourself or for somebody else? Because if it's a destination wedding, I would like someplace with an In-N-Out. I haven't had In-N-Out in forever, and I'm hungry today. Here we go.
So can you set the record straight?
Okay, again, these are just snippets of the Trump interview. This is not the whole interview. I cut out a whole bunch of stuff that Trump has said 1,000 times, but I do encourage you to go seek out the original source.
Do you believe you could be potentially reinstated?
You guys know what a white wedding is? Does anybody know what a white wedding is? It's a nice day for a white wedding. Think about the next lyric and you're going to get it. Don't Google it. Let me know if you know what a white wedding is. It's a nice day to start again.
At that point, what's your view?
Well, just so you understand, there is a large... I've been seeing those same polls. They're not my polls. They're polls taken by...
Nobody wants to hear about Donald's poll.
I guess media and others. And...
Yes, media and others do polls. That is correct. He's really on tap today. I don't even know what that means.
There is a tremendous percentage, much higher than that think the election was rigged and stolen.
I just want to sing Billy Idol now. It's a nice day to start again. Come on, it's a nice day for a white wedding. It's a... you know what? I'm going to get a copyright strike if I keep that up. I've been married before, Stephanie. I've been married. I'm now on my 4th wedding and or funeral. I was married once. I died once too. So technically, if I got married again, that would be my 3rd wedding and or funeral. Who's your Superman? Hey, little sister, shotgun.
And I don't speak for other people. I can only tell you what I say. And frankly.
Okay. He's like really backing away from all of this, like taking ownership of nothing. It's not like Trump to shirk responsibility. David gave me a lovely yagulagi at my original funeral. And he's like, this is the last one, Kevin. I'm here today because this is your last funeral. And then I'm like, sorry, I'm alive. He was upset about the whole thing. Thank you, random, says Stephanie. Not sure. What the meaning of white wedding? Let's see. Yeah, I did ask that. Hold on, because I got to put my glasses on because I got to look back on sweat, sweat, sweat. Not bad. What's her guess? It's a nice day to start again. Does nobody know what a white wedding is? I think you guys might be seeing more than I'm seeing in the chat room. Marcy just retracted her message. All right.
This isn't unique because Hillary Clinton went around saying it, and Stacey Abrams is still saying about her race in Georgia. So this is nothing that...
Stacey Abrams is not saying that the race was rigged.
It's totally unique, but I will say that in this case, they had no evidence. In this case, there's massive evidence.
No, Russia did interfere with the 2016 election. That's That's documented. That's well known by all of the U.S. intelligence agencies, even the Coast Guard agency, I'm sure.
Coming out of Georgia, it's coming out. I mean, just.
You're welcome, Steph. We're not seeing more. You're just not watching. It was written about his sister. No, it was not written about his sister.
Take a look at.
Maybe it was, but that's not what a white wedding is. Do you guys know what a white wedding is?
What's happening? Read the papers. Now, a lot of the mainstream media, in fact, almost all of it, refuses to cover it. And why, I don't know. It's all Pulitzer Prize material.
He thinks that the election fraud in Arizona is going to win a Pulitzer Prize.
But they refuse to cover it.
By the way, he has now several times said that the Pulitzer organization should be ashamed of themselves. No, it's not a traditional Western wedding. That's not what a white wedding is. That's not what Billy is singing about. And when you know what he's singing about, it will all make sense. You'll listen to the song again, you'll go like, oh yeah, it's a nice day to start again.
But you take a look at the numbers coming out of Arizona.
Marcy's close. By the way, there are no numbers coming out of Arizona. No numbers from Arizona have been announced yet, so there's nothing to take a look at. When you are a cocaine addict and you quit the day you go back on cocaine, that's your white wedding. It's a nice day to start again. Come on, it's a nice day.
Now, they're doing an audit right now. I have nothing to do with the audit. The audit is taking place. It's the state Senate. And I think they're great patriots, frankly, if you want to know the truth. But the state Senate of Arizona...
Is that the truth? That's what you think? Thank you for sharing your truth with us. Live your truth, Donald.
They're doing an audit. I don't know when it's going to be released, the numbers, but...
But you said to take a look at the numbers.
I would imagine they'd be very revealing, and Georgia likewise, and Pennsylvania is, from what I heard, starting an audit because they've found things that they are not happy with. No, these numbers, I think, are going to prove to be massive.
Yeah, but what about the...
Oh, massive numbers, along with your massive dumps. This is going to be exciting.
Reinstatement part, is that bogus?
Well, I'm not going to...
Oh, he asked him about how are you going to be reinstated. So how is that going to happen?
Comment on that. I'm going to just see what happens.
It's not going to comment on it. I'm just going to see what happens, which will be nothing, because there is no constitutional remedy or method for reinstatement. Remedy's the wrong word there. Are there any lawyers in the crowd? I know.
If the election was fraudulent, people are going to have to make up their own minds. It's not going to be up.
No, people don't have to make up their own minds. There is evidence and proof. The reason that your lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, just got taken off the bar today in New York is because he lied and said that there was a lot of proof, and there wasn't. And every time he went in front of a judge, he had to admit there was no proof. But in front of Senates, in front of the Michigan Senate, in front of the Pennsylvania Senate, he lied. By the way, none of those hearings, he was not sworn in on any one of those hearings.
To me, it's going to be up to...
Okay, cannoli's done. Hold on, Jennifer, can you make cannoli for the destination wedding that producer Joanna's going to have? Watch, I'm going to totally forget to share it with you guys, the news. So, well, it is news. It's kind of big news. It's not really positive or negative. It's just one of what happens in life. So don't get too excited. But I'll totally forget. I'll just tell you, I've been remonetized by YouTube. Also, that's not true. Still no word from YouTube as to why I'm demonetized.
Public, it's going to be up to perhaps politicians. I don't think there's ever been a case like this where hundreds of thousands of votes will be found.
No, nobody is finding hundreds of thousands of votes. The votes have been hand counted. You can't just find the hundreds of thousands of votes will be found. He's talking about, he complains that hundreds of thousands of votes were found out of nowhere, out of thin air, at 3 o'clock in the morning, after he'd already been called by several people telling him that he won, which is the way that elections are decided, by the way. People call you the night of the election and tell you that you won. That's very Madisonian. That wasn't Hamilton's way. Hamilton wanted to have a big dump in the middle of the night, but he was an immigrant, so they didn't pay much attention to him.
We'll have to see what happens.
Okay, fair enough. You know,
That was fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I'm not going to comment on that. Fair enough. Fair enough. He's a good reporter, this David. I think it's David Brody is his name. I don't know. Seems like a nice guy. He's got a little pocket square that's gold and a tie that's yellow. So he's trying. He's trying to tie it all together.
don't want to listen.
It's a nice day for a white wedding, don't you think? Nice day to start again.
Listen to the New York Times. They always like to write about the relationship.
I have never tried cocaine. I don't want to even know what would happen. I speak so quickly that every time I've gone to court, the judge has to kind of admonish me and say, if you could, that's not admonishing. She's saying, if you could speak more slowly, the court reporter can't keep up with you. Especially when I stumble over my words like that. So I know I speak quickly. On cocaine, I don't know that that would be a good... What if it slowed me down? I should do cocaine before recording voiceovers, because they always say, like, oh, this is going to be a 29-second spot, 30-second spot, and I try and hit the mark, and I come in at like 24 seconds, and then I have to slow everything down. And in my mind, it sounds like McDonald's. The choice of your generation. And then I listen to it, it's McDonald's, the choice of your generation. What I'm saying is I'm just smarter than everybody. I think more quickerly than all of you. Put together, that's what I'm saying. Also, that's not true. That's the third lie I've told today, and that is why I'm harmful, and that is why I'm demonetized. You can ask D Money, she knows. Marcy says, I was admonished for impersonating an attorney once. True story. I believe that. I go to traffic court in a suit, and 2 or 3 times I've had judges ask me where my client was. Is your client going to speak for himself? Like someone I'm sharpening skates for? I don't really do clients. How many times have I been to court? Well, all you need to know is I've never been convicted. But if I do get a traffic ticket, yeah, I typically fight it.
Relationship between you and Mike Pence. Can you explain that to us right now? There's a portion of the MAGA...
Okay, so this question is about... Apparently Trump is none too happy with Mike Pence. You know, the same guy that he was like, oh, Mike Pence has done a wonderful job with coronavirus. Remember the same Mike Pence who wrote that article in the Wall Street Journal saying that we weren't going to have a second wave and that the administration deserves huge congratulations? That was at about 110,000 dead, I think.
Crowd, you know the deal. They're never going to forgive the vice president for not kicking those certain disputed election results back to state legislatures.
You cannot kick election results back to state legislatures. That is not how it works. That's not how the constitutional works. Sorry, the court reporter is now angry at me. She's scowling. SCOWLING. I don't know. They don't even use real typing. They've got like some kind of phonetic thing going on there. They're not really doing anything. I like the ones that speak into the like they're ordering cheeseburgers. Those are the best court reporters. You know, there's a name for court reporters. Whatever their parents named them, that's what you call them. That's polite.
What's your take on Mike Pence and how?
What's your take on Mike Pence? The most GOPer in the land. What is your take on Mr. Jesus? Stephanie B says, I've done that. My old boss was the Supreme Court clerk and would stand over me whenever I went into the courthouse and pulled files. Were you supposed to be there?
What's the relationship like?
Well, I've always liked Mike, and I'm very disappointed that he didn't send it back to the legislatures.
Again, you can't, that's not a thing. You don't send elections back to the legislatures. That's not how it works at all. Under any understanding, because that's simply not understanding. It's very clearly spelled out in the Constitution.
You have more votes than you have voters in some cases.
No.
And when you have... The kind.
By the way, that's one of the things that Brad Wafflesberger addressed in his interview, is that we did not have more votes than we had voters. That is complete nonsense. How? How could you do that? You know how? By bamboo ballots. That's how. That's what they're looking for in Arizona.
Kind of things that are that were known in many cases. They were known then, but they're certainly getting better and better known now.
What is that? Who? Why did he? I just come on. What if it? Just if one time? I just.
I was disappointed that he didn't send it back. I felt he had the right to send it back.
You felt that, but that wasn't true.
And he should have sent it back. That's my opinion. And I think if he did, I think those look at Pennsylvania now, look at Georgia, look at Arizona, and look at others. They're all now looking at what happened during that election. I think.
So we look at them looking at other things? Is that what
you would have found that you might very well have a different president right now had he sent him back.
But you can't. That's not how that works.
Picks Amy Coney Barrett, Brett Kavanaugh. They ruled with the liberals.
But nothing gets sent back, by the way. Once you reach Safe Harbor Day, the election must be certified by the Secretary of the State, but more importantly, per the Constitution, by the governor of said state. Per the method set forward by the legislature. They decide how it's done. Then the governor certifies and sends the appointed electors to Washington, D.C. If it is voted in both chambers that the election that those electors that their vote should not be counted, then they're dismissed from the entire count, and then the winner is whoever has the majority of the remaining electors. But no one gets sent back to the states, and there are no such thing as alternate electors. It's not a thing. Okay, does anybody really care about his opinion? Well, yeah, a ton of people do. I really wish, rather than attacking the vaccines, like Tucker Carlson yesterday was saying that the WHO, World Health Organization, is now saying that children should not get the vaccine. Complete bullshit. 2 days ago, World Health Organization came out and said the Pfizer vaccine is recommended for people 12 and older. That no one has said get the AstraZeneca if you're 12 years old. No one has said that. But that is complete opposite of truth, and all they do is attack the vaccines. Meanwhile, we have President Trump, because you and I are in the know, we have President Trump saying on multiple occasions, I recommend getting the vaccine. But they never play that part. They never do. The sound bites are available. His people would listen to him. You know what? You know what someone should do? Someone should put that together. Someone who wants people to get vaccinated, Biden, if you're listening, Kamala, if you're listening, take the Trump sound bites, put them together, and make it a commercial. Even if he doesn't want to participate in it, it's out there. It's out there already. Get vaccinated, people. I don't have the money to put it on the air.
Just recently in favor of saving Obamacare.
I don't know if anyone tuned into this besides me.
What did you think of that, about what they did?
Disappointed, and that's the way it goes. I'm very disappointed.
Oh, he's disappointed in the Supreme Court for ruling that so the states Texas specifically, tried to get Obamacare declared unconstitutional because of the individual mandate. Ironically, it was Trump's tax cut that got rid of the penalty for the individual mandate. Therefore, the people of the state of Texas have no harm done to them by the individual mandate. If there's no penalty, if it doesn't cost you anything, you have no standing because nothing bad was done to you. So you can't go after Obamacare. So Trump saved Obamacare. I love that. I absolutely love that. And I'm currently on Obamacare. I've been on the marketplace, the Obamacare marketplace, one way or the other since it came out. And it saved my life. I'm currently on Obamacare. And if he got rid of it, I'd have to find my health care somewhere else. And it would be much more expensive and far less effective.
And I fought very hard for them, but I was very disappointed with a number of their rulings.
Yeah. Does it make you second guess?
He didn't fight very hard for his Supreme Court justices. He nominates them to the Senate, and the senators do the work.
Some of those picks, or time will tell?
No, second guessing does no good. But I was...
Oh, he does a second guess. But he never second guesses his decisions. Everybody else's he does, but not his.
I was disappointed with a number of rulings that they made.
For sure.
Again, you're watching snippets of a Donald Trump interview on Real America Voice. I welcome you to go and check out the entire broadcast, wherever it may be.
By the way, later this month, you're going to be going down to the border in Texas with Governor Greg Abbott. If you had a few minutes to speak with Kamala Harris.
They'll be doing a Sean Hannity interview there as well, and we're going to try and have that on.
About the immigration situation, what would you tell her? Because after all, Joe Biden put her in charge of the crisis. By the way, they don't even call it a crisis.
Joe Biden does call it a crisis. He's called it a crisis.
I'd say go back to what we were doing. It worked. Not so easy to get back there, however.
They're pretty much doing everything that Trump was doing except the Remain in Mexico part. But it's the Republicans who keep telling everybody that the borders are open now. It's pretty much all the same stuff, except Remain in Mexico.
Had to go through court cases, litigation. We had to win a lot. And stay in Mexico was a very big deal. And
it was just stay there instead of stay in the States. When they're in the States, they can actually work. They keep complaining that employers can't find anyone willing to work. They can work. They're not eligible for unemployment, but there are ways to enable them to work while they're waiting for their asylum hearings. Completely legal. And yes, we are desperately in need of employees. 9.3 million open jobs in the United States right now. But God forbid we get any employees.
We got that, and we got all the other things, and now it's all been blown up. And
it has not all been blown up. It's pretty much the same as it was before. There's just more people coming now because, well, several reasons. One of them being is you keep saying the borders are open and anybody can come in and they're immediately released and they never have to show up for the court date. Complete lie. The other thing is there was a backlog. A whole bunch of people didn't come up during COVID because COVID.
You have millions of people coming into our country, just in case.
You don't have millions. You will have millions by the end of the year. Probably, well, we're already halfway through the year. We haven't had millions yet. But here's what happens. Under Title 42, 180,000 people came in last month. 112 were immediately expelled. Just turned right around. So, all right, now you're down to 68,000? Not. So there are not millions of people staying in the country. That's just not the way it works. It's not reality. And the Republicans are doing that whole like, oh, they're going to get rid of Title 42. Oh my God, they're going to get rid of Title 42. We have to stop them. No one is getting rid of Title 42 as of this time. But they have banned beef. So you want to go get your in and out as quickly as possible. So everybody, I hope you get an invitation to Joanna's destination wedding. The destination, I hope, is In and Out. I don't think Joanna even likes In and Out. Do you, Joanna? No. Does anybody else besides me like In and Out in here? I don't think that Ann Random likes In and Out. Stephanie should be eating a lot of In and Out. Probably not. Is Lindsay here? I don't know.
Sure. Not aware of it. Millions of people. And many of those people come out of prisons. They allow them to come out of prisons and other places.
Millions of those people come out of prisons to come across the border. We don't have millions of people coming across the border yet this year. But somehow there are more millions. Is that how we have more votes than there are people? Is that what he thinks happens?
What's happening on our border is beyond a crisis. And
that's not a thing.
And maybe they won't call it a crisis.
Joanna says, I don't like any burgers except veggie ones. So on the destination wedding menu will be veggie burgers. I have a lot of stuff to do that day, whatever day it happens to be. Stephanie likes In-N-Out Burgers. Oh, you had a Wendy's combo this afternoon. I keep getting ads for Wendy's on my Twitters. I haven't been to Wendy's in a long time. I haven't had fast food in a long time. I did. My exceptions would be I will go get an Impossible Burger from Burger King because I'm really trying to support meat alternatives. So sometimes they'll send me like a $2 Impossible Burger, which is what it would cost me anyway. I'll go eat a $2 Impossible Burger. The other thing is Burger King now has a chicken sandwich of some kind, and when you buy it, they, in order to slap Chick-fil-A in the face, they will donate money from the sale of that sandwich to LGBTQ XYZ causes. And I call them XYZ causes because Marjorie Taylor Greene said that today. We'll go watch that later if I remember, instead of going over my personal news. Marcy says you can get a grilled cheese at In-N-Out. Producer Joanna, there's your wedding right there. How do you feel about grilled cheese? Joanna says she's selling her house. I have no time to get married.
But it's beyond a crisis.
Okay, because Sean was going to ask. James says my sister needs a new man now. Why? What happened? By the way, I'm interested, Steph, what kind of Wendy's did you have? Did you have one of those pretzel burger buns? Because people are saying good things about that. In fact, it was you folks in the chat room that told me to have some kind of pretzel burger thing from Wendy's. I never did.
Obviously, faithful Americans who have lost hope in this country. What do you tell them? How do you have them keep the faith through the...
So many faithful Americans have lost hope. As our leader, as our go-to, in some ways, our Messiah, what do you say, Mr. Former President? How do you help Americans who've lost all hope? Give us your words of wisdom.
These tough times.
I tell them to stay tuned.
Oh, okay. That makes me feel better. I had lost all hope. But just knowing that I should stay tuned fills me with apprehension. Joanna says, I just had a baked potato with cheddar and sriracha. So yes, yummy. I have been helping Joanna get rid. I have been throwing a lot of trash. I've been helping producer Joanna get her house ready to sell. I have yet to see a baked potato with cheddar and sriracha. Yes, there has been Venmo. But where am I going to go with that Venmo money to buy a baked potato with sriracha? Nowhere that I know of. Yeah, there's probably a place that sells baked potatoes and sriracha, and that is where I will get the Delta variant. Producer Jan is going to hit me. At random, just had corn on the cob with butter and truffle salt. So good. Oh, God. Now I'm getting hungry. I'm going to end the broadcast. All right, guys. You guys take care of yourself. We'll see you another time. Wait, we got more broadcasting to do. Hold on. We're not even done with the interview. We're almost done with it. Trump is almost done with the interview. Here it goes. So, if you've lost hope, if you're troubled, when you're down and out, when life is wearing on your shoulders, when you're weary, Trump will be your bridge over troubled waters. When you're weary, when you're feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, why did it send me to Music Match? Trump will dry them all. But be careful, you want to wear glasses if Trump is involved with things in your eyes. He's on your side. Oh, when times get rough. And friends can't be found? Stay tuned. Stay tuned, my friends. Hi Heather. Heather says, at random soon, and I are literally, son, must be son. Heather's, I'm guessing, son and I are literally eating burgers for the first time in like 3 years. What kind of burgers, Heather? Did you make them yourself? I'm so hungry right now. I got a bunch of food I got to eat. Plagued by society had onion rings for dinner. Yesterday was International Onion Ring Day. Did you guys know that? Might have been today. I don't know. It's been a blur.
Now, what does that mean? I have to.
It's been a blur? Oh, he's asking President Trump. Oh, okay. So what do you do? What do you say to the people that are weary and have lost hope? Stay tuned. Now, what does that mean? I like that follow-up. That's a very good follow-up, David. Judges agree. Thank you. Let's see if he gives you any more information than that.
Ask you a follow-up on that, Mr. President.
Yeah, that's what that is. That's a follow-up. Good job. Here we go.
Stay tuned. That's all I get.
Is Trump gone?
That's all you get.
All right. Low energy Donald on the loose.
That's what you get, and it's we'll see what happens. Our country is.
Oh, we'll see what happens. That is Trump's favorite phrase, by the way. Besides 1917 flu pandemic,
Is in crisis, and we are. What's happening with other countries? They're eating our lunch.
So, for those of you Americans who are faithful and have lost hope, even though you're faithful, my brain can't get over that wall. Not even with a ladder, not even with a coyote dropping me over that wall. I just can't. For the faithful, full of faith, who've lost hope, our country is in crisis. Really, Trump is America's healer.
They're destroying our country.
Our country's being destroyed. So if you've lost hope, rest assured, our country's being destroyed.
At the border and elsewhere.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Let's see what happens.
Fair enough. And in terms
Thank you, David, very much, David.
Mr. President.
That's it. So that was not the whole interview that Trump had to be done with very quickly. There's more. And I do encourage you to go to Real America News, Real Voices America, Real America's Voice. Just from a marketing standpoint, guys, at Real America's Voice, that's tough to remember. You might want to rebrand with something. Just the News, also. So I'm not sure which we were just watching there, but maybe it's a cooperative agreement. Maybe David Brody works for Just the News and has a show on Real America. I don't know. But I did download your app. So I got that going on. Okay, so that's enough of that. Well, you know what we got to do? I don't want to let you guys go just yet. We're coming up on an hour. We'll broadcast for a good solid hour. I can't promise that it'll be good. Let's go over here and see what's going on the YouTube TV with the Hannitys. This is from yesterday, so let's reload this here. Marjorie Taylor Greene, was she on Hannity or what was she on, Stephanie? That's what I said. I said we'd cover Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't even know what she was on, but Asen did. Asen covered her. Maybe it was on Tucker. Hold on.
This is why.
This is important. This is some kind of drug commercial because that's what they show on Fox. Hold on. Let me tune in Asen here, our friend who watches all the bad shows for us. Let's see. So, by the way, Laura Ingraham very, very upset at the general who criticized Matt Gaetz and the whole critical race theory. Announcement. At Random has an announcement. Let's see. So, hold on. I'm trying to find the not AOC. Here we go. Yeah, it's Tucker. So we'll go to Tucker, and we'll find that interview. Here we go. It's Tucker Carlson Tonight, and we'll find that interview, and then if I remember, I'll give you the big news. Oh, here's the general. By the way, let's watch the general. Former, actually, I don't even know. He might still be the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Chief of for all the militaries. Here we go.
Milley yesterday, the man in charge of this nation's weapons, explained that he's working to understand a concept called white rage.
I do think it's important, actually, for those of us in uniform to be open-minded and be widely read.
And be educated. Imagine that.
And the United States Military Academy is a university.
Yes, it is.
And it is important that we train and we understand. And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white, and I want to understand it. So what is it that caused...
I can tell him all about white rage every time I'm driving my old car and I have to pull out my keys and put them in the ignition. What kind of bullshit is that? I just want to press a button. Is that too much to ask?
thousands of people to assault this building and try to overturn the Constitution of the United States of America? What caused that? I want to find that out.
That would be good. Is he from Canada? He just said out.
I want to maintain an open mind here, and I do
That's what it is. He's not even an American.
want to analyze it. It's important that we understand that because our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians, they come from the American people. So it is important that the leaders, now and in the future, do understand it.
Hard to believe that man wears a uniform. He's that unimpressive. Notice he never defined white rage, and we should...
So this is an American general. He's that unimpressive. By the way, that may be the most impressive response I've seen from an American general in years. Colin Powell at the UN would be the last time I was that affected by a general speaking. Did they show the part where Matt Gaetz was shaking his head?
Guardians, they come from the American people. So it is important that the leaders, now and in the future, do understand it.
Yeah, and he goes on there to say that he's read Mao Zedong, he's read, etc., the Communist Manifesto, whatever he said. Yeah, I've read the Communist Manifesto. Doesn't make me a communist. Yeah, I've read the philosophies of the East. Not all of them. I think are there 8? 8 or 9? There's like 9 philosophies. I read all about the Eastern culture and the Eastern philosophy. Okay, I doubt it.
Hard to believe that man wears a uniform. He's that unimpressive. Notice he never defined...
This is a general. Tucker, of course, was a Marine. He did 2 tours of duty in Iraq in the early 2000s. Oh, no, sorry. He was hosting right-wing television and wearing a bow tie at that point. He's an heiress.
White rage, and we should know what it is. What is white rage? Well, like drapetomania, it's one of those diseases that only affect people with certain melanin levels. It's a race-specific illness. That's what Mark...
It's not a real illness, Tucker. It's just white people being angry about things. So there's not a medical diagnosis for it, but okay. Here we go. Let's see if he goes on with the speech here.
Mark Milley has learned from reading about it. That's why he's making his soldiers read about it too. They need...
Hold up a second. There's a certain matter, a modicum of respect that comes along with being a general. Let's see what happens here. I suspect that Tucker's going to do something. I may be wrong, but let's find out.
Well, like drapetomania, it's one of those diseases that only affect people with certain melanin levels. It's a race-specific illness. That's what Mark Milley has learned from...
General Milley, he's earned those stars. 4 of them, Tucker. But, we got to respect our military. They keep us safe.
Reading about it. That's why he's making his soldiers read about it too. They need to know. Why?
Yeah.
I've read Mao Zedong. I've read Karl Marx. I've read Lenin. That doesn't make me a communist. So what is wrong with understanding, having some...
Marcy. Marcy's read hundreds of murder mysteries and... Moving on.
Situational understanding about the country for which we are here to defend. And I personally find it offensive that we are accusing the United States military, our general officers, our commissioned, non-commissioned officers, of being, quote, woke.
Oh, show Matt Gaetz! Show Matt Gaetz shaking his head at the general. Matt did 2 tours of duty, I think in Cuba? Bay of Pigs, perhaps? He got himself a son there or something?
He's not just a pig, he's stupid. So Mark Milley reads Mao to understand Mao.
Oh, so the general is stupid. General's stupid. Tucker Carlson, the general is stupid. By the way, he says things like this in order to cause white rage, because white rage is good for sales of MyPillow. And that's the bottom line.
He reads
But you ever notice with Tucker, he has that weird laugh after, sorry, I should have warned you guys, but he laughs at things that he says himself, that he's reading off his teleprompter, like it's the first time he's ever heard it. He's surprised that, oh, I just thought that.
communist to understand.
Yeah, he said that the general is a pig and he's stupid. I don't, we gotta listen to it again. Because I don't want to take that out of context. Was he...
The United States military, our general officers, our commissioned, non-commissioned officers, are being, quote, woke.
He's not just a pig, he's stupid. So Mark Milley...
he is referring to the general there, right, guys? Am I misinterpreting that? Or was he talking about Matt Gaetz at the end? Matt Gaetz, who hasn't been on his show since the day after the allegations came out, and Matt Gaetz was like, you had dinner with me and a young lady. You would remember that. And Tucker's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And that was the last time Matt Gaetz was on the Tucker Carlson show, so far as I know.
Reads Mao to understand Mao.
Oh, Rusty is... I scared Rusty. Sorry, Rusty. Who's a good boy? You are. Yes, you are.
He reads communist to understand communism, but it's interesting that he doesn't read white supremacists to understand white supremacy. Why not?
Ramafrog says Matt Gaetz preferred minor genitals over major generals. I got that wrong. I am so sorry, Ramafrog. Matt Gaetz prefers minor genitals over major generals. Thank you, Ramafrog, for that. I am the very model of a modern major genital. Petra says Stephanie B. The most people forgot that in 1987 he was determined to become ambassador with full powers to Moscow. All right, well, I missed out on that.
Go to the source. Well, because Mark Milley would be fired.
General Mark Milley.
Instantly if he read those books, and getting fired is the one thing he doesn't want. So he reads about white rage as if it's totally real. It's a medical condition.
No, you're pretending it's a medical condition.
And by the way, since it's a medical condition, at what age can you catch white rage, by the way? Most of us assumed that our 2-year-olds were just teething. Now we know it's their whiteness that's making them so angry. Thanks, Mark Milley. We appreciate...
That's not a thing.
Your contribution to our generation's scientific racism. By the way, have you read anything recently about winning wars? Apparently not.
Oh, because the U.S. military sucks. I got it. I got you, Tucker. Yeah. Why don't we cancel Veterans Days? And while we're at it, let's forget Memorial Day. You Americans and all your losing. That's a patriot, by the way. Has his own show on Fox Patriot Nation or something.
We could go on and on and on.
Yes, you could.
Pundit after senator after professor after general, each one of them spewing race hate.
Yeah.
Whiteness, white rage, dressed up as some new academic theory.
No, they're not doing the white rage. They're trying to understand the white rage because white rage was largely involved with the invasion of the Capitol, which was an attempt to overthrow the results of an election. It was an attempted coup, which is not coup in this country. We don't want that. We like our country, Tucker. We like democracy. We appreciate the way that it works. Are there problems with the American democratic system? Yes, absolutely. The Electoral College, I don't even want to get into it right now. But do we want to spend our time insulting the American military? No, I support the American military. I'm not a warmonger by any means. But I know several people who have served. And I thank them for their service. And if I was talking to a general, I would address him as general. And if I was talking to Trump, I would address him as Generalissimo.
We certainly have the tape. We'll spare you because you've seen it. It's everywhere. The question is, and this is the question that we should be meditating on day in and day out.
No, but I do want to hear this question. I will not be meditating on it.
Is how do we get out of this vortex, this cycle, before it's too late?
What cycle are we in? Did you see a cycle?
How do we save this country before we become Rwanda?
No. You're gonna have to ask the people who brought weapons to the Capitol and a noose, a gallows for the vice president. You're gonna have to ask them.
What should we be teaching our children so they can live in the country that you want to live in?
American history.
A country full of
critical race theory. By the way, I've looked at critical race theory. There are opinions about it, parts of it, that you could object to. Is it dangerous? No. Does it say that there are problems with the system that keep some people down? Yeah, that's what it says. And yeah, if you grew up impoverished, white or black, it's not easy in this country. But is critical race theory what we should all be panicking about right now? No. It's a theory. Just like communism is a theory. We learned about communism in school, and yet the country is not communist.
Many different kinds of people, many different, but who actually
Tucker's volume's a lot lower than mine. That's probably for the best, but let me adjust it.
like each other, who are happy.
That's weird because I'm seeing. Let me pump him up even more. He's in the red, and I'm just being loud because of my Tucker laughter and the white wedding.
To work together, who are united ultimately by the core fact, which is they're all Americans. That is the question. It's something that Victor Davis Hanson has thought a lot about, and we're very happy to have him on tonight. Professor, thanks so much.
Oh, no. Okay, let's go find MTG. Is she here? Is she somewhere? That's not her. Was she here for a second? There she is. Here we go. We'll cover her, then we'll say goodnight.
Something lurking in an infrastructure bill that Democrats have written. That bill states this, quote, women shall be presumed to be socially and economically disadvantaged individuals for the purposes of this subsection. Well, that was news to Marjorie Taylor Greene, so she tweeted this, quote, my construction company is woman-owned, and I'm very offended to be presumed socially and economically disadvantaged, end quote. Well, we checked, and it turns out that many government laws assume that women, the majority of the American population, are, quote, economically disadvantaged.
That is actually accurate. Yeah.
What is that?
Well, it's a... I won't even get into it.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene joins us tonight.
Who? Margie? Margie Taylor Greene? Is he drunk?
Congresswoman, thanks so much for coming on. So how surprised were you to learn in this bill that you're a victim?
Well, I wasn't just surprised, I was outraged. As a matter of fact,
Margie Taylor Greene and her husband cheated on their taxes. They claimed a sole residence or primary residence in two different properties. You can't do that. That still hasn't been adjudicated by a court as far as I know. When I hear about it, we'll hear about it. Boy, it'd be fascinating to take a look at Marjorie Taylor Greene's construction business and see if she has had advantages, government-approved advantages because she's a woman. I don't know. There's probably a way you could check out the small business where her construction business is.
I'm very angry about it because I can tell you this. I'm probably one of the only members of Congress that owns a woman-owned construction company. I've been successful in
that may be true.
In 11 states. We've done a lot of money in revenue. I can say a lot more than the federal government, and we know how to turn a profit, not a loss. And I can tell you, as a member of Congress who's been successful in business, I'm not only surprised, I am very angered to be considered in a category that is socially and economically disadvantaged.
This is nothing new. This classification has existed for decades.
Because as a matter of fact, I don't consider myself that way at all. I consider myself one of the luckiest.
So don't apply for any programs that might give you a benefit. Problem solved.
Women on the planet, because I'm an American woman and I live in a country where through hard work I can be successful, and that's exactly what we've done in our family construction business that is a woman-owned business. And so for Democrats,
so family construction, by the way, that has been a common trick for years, is a construction business is owned by the wife, but the guy does all the work. But the wife's name is on all the corporate incorporation documents, whatever I'm saying, LLC, S corp, etc. But that way you're eligible for a bunch of programs, and you go to the head of the class in terms of bidding on government contracts. And if you're a construction business, I don't know what kind of construction she does, but a lot of it has to do with the state, the city, etc. And they would prefer to have a female-owned business. Why? Because that's just the way it is.
Treat women and put us down in a category where we have to,
David, the judges say,
be a victim in order to succeed. I find that extremely
you don't have to be.
Insulting.
But if you look at the economics of the situation, yes, women are still disadvantaged in just about every category, except, and this is kind of cool, more women get into colleges now than men, last time I checked.
And I see it as a continued.
I don't know anything about a Roger Stone story. Does anybody know what happened with Roger Stone? I saw a couple of comments on Twitter today, but I've been pretty busy.
As the Democrats' war on women.
You know what? We can look that up since you guys seem interested in it. I got a couple of messages. Oh, Marcy sent me a link. That might be something to do with anything. Okay, so Roger Stone. Here we go. Roger Stone claims Steve Bannon blackmailed Trump to receive his pardon. Okay. Here we go. Here's Roger Stone. Let's take a look at this at News Wars or InfoWars or something. News Wars is what it's called.
Steve Bannon publicly accused the president of having Alzheimer's. He said the Trump Organization was a criminal enterprise. He said that Trump...
Whoa, sorry. That's really loud for you guys. Hold on. I'll turn it down. Stop it. Let me turn it down on this end. That should fix it for you.
Trump would be prosecuted. I can do this almost verbatim. When the learn he's not a billionaire, he's just another scumbag.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, do we know all that was really said, or just the media claim that?
Oh, that's InfoWars, not News Wars. And did he buy his nutraceuticals?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Do we know he really said all that, or just the media said that? Because the media claims that
is reported by The Guardian. It's also in the book, Fast and Furious, and he's never denied it. His defenders say, oh, well, that was 2 years ago. Doesn't matter when it was. Steve Bannon called the president of the United States.
Well, then here's the $64 trillion question. Why did Trump give him a pardon?
I think he was blackmailed. That's what I think.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Fine.
Well, it's a little strange, too, because most Americans are women.
That's an excellent point at random. I don't know. I do not know.
So how can you have an oppressed minority that's actually the majority of the country? I mean, it doesn't kind of make any sense, does it?
No, it doesn't make sense. But this is how Democrats achieve their agenda. They have to divide everyone up in some sort of political identity.
Well, women versus man is not really a political identity.
Whether you're a woman, you're LGBTQ, XYZ, whatever,
I'm XYZ.
Transgender, Black, Hispanic, Asian. They have to divide everyone up. They have to make, give you the message that you're a victim, and you can't be successful unless you're using their policy or their government program that they're going to provide to you at a cost to the American taxpayers, and that's how you will be successful.
Well, that gives me white rage and XY rage.
You see, they don't believe in individual rights, they don't believe in our freedoms, and they don't believe in Americans' independent will and hard work to be successful. That's
What does that have to do with anything that we're talking about? Freedom.
not who the
They're not taking freedom away from anybody.
Democrat Party is. They're the party of socialism. And that's why in every single bill I read, and believe me, I read them because as a business owner, I'm used to actually reading contracts and reading information and anything I sign my name on. And that's why in this...
You're used to reading about things? This is the girl who just found out about the Holocaust and that it was bad? You're a good reader. That's what I heard.
Transportation bill, I was completely shocked and angered and insulted, frankly, as a...
Were you as shocked as angered as when you went to the Holocaust Museum and found out about what happened? Because that was shocking and anger-inducing, wasn't it? Tell us more, oh wise one.
Woman who has been successful in the construction industry. You see, what Democrats want in this...
Hold on, I want to hear what Democrats want. I'm not a Democrat, so I really want to know what they want. You know what I want? What I really, really want? I really want to zig-a-zig, yeah. Because I'm Z.
Disgusting infrastructure bill that they just got through the Senate and Biden announced that they have a deal for. You see, what they want is they want a transfer of wealth. And they don't want to give contracts to transportation companies, to trucking companies, to paving companies that are able to actually do the job and do the job well. They want to provide it to minority-owned companies or women-owned companies
that won't do the job well. Well, she sold me on it.
Who they consider are socially and economically disadvantaged. And this is everything wrong with the Democrats' policy.
This has been the policy, though, with just about every government organization for decades, Marjorie, and you know this. You've been in the construction industry from what I've heard.
And that's why I'm very much against it.
Yeah, the party of rich ladies telling you that ladies are oppressed. I love it. I can't believe you read the bill.
Why? Why is he laughing at himself? The party of rich ladies telling you that you're oppressed. Sorry, Marjorie, says at random, but isn't Democrat a political identity? And aren't you insulting that group and creating division? Yeah.
Bill, boy, you are new to this. You're probably the only one who did. Marjorie Taylor Greene, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tucker.
All right. Okay, well, that's it. I got to get back to what I'm working on right now, guys. So you guys all have a wonderful night, and I probably get the chance to broadcast tomorrow. Won't know for sure until tomorrow hits. So I apologize for taking so long to get you guys the Trump interview, but I hope that watching 3 minutes of Tucker made up for it. You guys have a great night. Be nice to each other. Stay safe. The news. The big news is that I'm now selling nutraceuticals. Get your nutraceuticals right now. Patriots, we need you healthy. We need you to take action. We need you to use your agency and go to nutraceuticalsfromkevin.com and make sure that you stay healthy. You know the coronavirus, although it's a hoax, is responsible for killing more Americans than died in Vietnam last week. And you need to keep yourself healthy. We need you to use your American freedom and send us money. It's the vitamin D12 that really makes the difference. And now, I've had friends. It's not a testimonial. I just wanted to let you guys know that I have had friends. Speaking of friends, so, the big news is the proprietors of this abode the owners of the Outhouse Studio, who have been so amazingly gracious and generous and magnanimous and whatever other redundancies you want to throw in there, to provide for myself and for Kevinly's daughter a place to live, a place to habitide, a place to live stream over these many months, asking nary but an occasional picture hanging. They have decided, and I cannot blame them for this because this is the time to do it, they have decided to sell said abode. So the Outhouse Studios, which is in the house that I abide, is for sale. So Kevinly's daughter and I have to move out by the end of the month. So I have been very, very busy finding places to live, and moving things, as well as also helping producer Joanna put her house up for sale. So it's everyone is selling right now in Southern California, and that makes perfect sense. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the housing market nationally, but at least here in LA, in order to have a balanced market in real estate, you want about 6 months of inventory. In other words, you want about 6 months worth of houses, however many houses would take 6 months to sell. Okay, so let's say 1,000 houses would sell in an area in 6 months. That's a balanced housing market. And so there's a give and take between sellers will say, I want this much money, and buyers will say, well, I'll give you this much money. That is completely on its head right now. There in LA County, there is less than 2 weeks worth of inventory. 6 months, balance. 2 weeks, insanity. And so, and I know producer Joanna has personal reasons for selling as well. But the people who own this property, and again, I have nothing negative to say about them. So grateful from the bottom of my heart, and I know you folks are too, because it's enabled me to keep doing what I do. And I'm, again, also very gracious for everyone's generosity. It's not stressful. I really haven't been stressed by it, and here's why. And this is what I was telling producer Joanna the other day. That nobody in the history of the world has failed to move. When you have a deadline of, in this case, for me, it's the end of the month, you make it work. I mean, you've never walked into a house 2 weeks after the previous tenants were supposed to be gone, and they're still sitting there. Like, yeah, I couldn't get there. I couldn't move. I missed the deadline, and so I'm just going to stay put. Not in the real world, anyway. I know there's squatters, and actually, I should pull that eviction thing. Oh, but you know what? The eviction moratorium ends at the end of the month anyway, so I couldn't even pull that card. That being said, in LA County, it takes about 6 months to get rid of people, but they'd have to get rid of themselves too. So, like, I've been moving a lot of the stuff. It's been a lot of moving. So yeah, this has been my life the last couple of weeks. It's been a lot of it's been a living hall, is what I can say, and I am the you in the U-Haul. But this opens up new doors, and so trying to ascertain what will happen. I'm not stressed about it because I know good things will happen, and I'll keep you guys apprised of what happens. So Joanna is very stressed. Joanna stresses about everything, so this is nothing new. This is her natural state. Joanna has no reason to be stressed. I'll be honest with you. Without giving you any personal details, Joanna's house is fine. It will sell nicely. She has done a lot of work on it, and it is a beautiful house. Much more beautiful now than when I first saw it. So back to the storage shed. There will be storage. I know that and it's good because that gives me a chance to do some spring cleaning and say, like, I don't need this, I don't need this, I need this. As well, this has given an opportunity for Kevinly's daughter to move on with her young adult life. So lots of news, and that's what's been going on. And so I'm just lucky during this time that rent in LA is just so damn affordable. It's insane. But I am always blessed to have you folks and others. And again, the proprietors of this maison have been more than generous. And I've tried to contribute where I can, and I will continue to try and do so wherever I am. So, that's the big news. And when making the moves, when looking at places, etc., this has been a primary consideration. Am I still able to broadcast? And that situation should continue. You guys won't notice anything different, except that, I don't know, maybe the background will be different. But I will, I have a green screen here, but I haven't pulled it down in months. And no one seems to have cared. So you guys just don't see that. Good night, Petra. So that's the big news. Good night. 4:44 in the morning. Yeah, get some sleep. Joanna, everything will be fine. Everything will work out. Joanna's in a wonderful situation right now. She's ready to sell her house when the market is insane, and that's what you want. So things will work out for Joanna. Things will work out for me. Things will work out for Kevinly daughter. There are some wonderful possibilities. Leases need to be signed, etc., etc. So I will keep you guys apprised, and that is why I haven't been able to broadcast a whole bunch lately. Today was a big hump, so we got over today. Now there are more things going on. So we just a lot of packing, a lot of apartment searching. A lot of trying to find some place safe for a 22-year-old girl in Los Angeles. And let me just say, the right might be right that the whole crime wave. No, it is amazing. It is. I'll tell you guys a story sometime of the places that I have seen for rent that people think are appropriate for rent. Bathrooms without doors. Because why would you want a door on a bathroom? Just like, have you thought about perhaps? And I try and be helpful with people. Oh, well, this is an interesting space. Have you given any thought to maybe a curtain in front of the toilet, which you've put into the main room? Just a thought. Oh, Todd Stubler says, ha 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 hump. All right. Well, thank you for your input. We always value people in the chat room. Todd, maybe not so much. But I don't know what you were going for there, Todd. We do miss Jellohead. Yeah, so you're right. I do have to, maybe tomorrow I'll pull down this green screen. This green screen has got to go anyway because this place is being sold. And I don't think that the, what are they called? Real estate peoples? I don't think that they want a green screen hanging from the ceiling. So maybe I'll pull it down tomorrow. I have until the end of the month to figure out what's going to happen. So that is what we are doing. Today a fridge went away. And so we moved things into another fridge that doesn't work well. So I have a lot of eating to do. So for dinner, I won't be going out to Wendy's. I won't be going to In-N-Out. I will be looking at what has thawed slightly in the old fridge, and I will be eating that. And I will be I'm not complaining. I will be quite happy. It's like a journey of discovery whenever I open up the freezer and I'm like, I don't remember making this chicken, or I don't remember buying this quiche, or whatever, but there it is waiting for me. John Oliver does an excellent piece on expiring food and freezing things, etc. You can freeze pretty much anything but lettuce, so go for it. Isn't that Thursday? I don't know. Aren't we Thursday right now? I don't know what she's asking. Anyway, so am I stressed? No. I know things will work out for me. They always do. I mean, guys, I've died. Once you've died, your perspective in life changes a little bit. So enjoy each other. Enjoy what you have. Don't stress. Don't worry. It doesn't do any good. Like, there's literally, think about things, plan, write things down, make lists. But don't stress about them, because things will work out, especially when you're as blessed as all of us are. I mean, the fact that we're sitting here now watching on our phone, some of you watch on your big screens, some of you watch on your computers, some of you watch as you drive, and I guess let me know where the funeral is, or whoever's watching this after they've been in a car. Anyway, movie night. Yeah, boy, I don't know if we'll do a movie tomorrow or not. I am honestly so slammed with packing and moving and putting things and figuring out where to be. So I don't know, but movie night, again, being that this is the live stream broadcast, movie night is a priority, so we'll try and make that happen. If not tomorrow, then next. In fact, last movie night, I think I started the movie for you guys, and then I went about packing and moving, and what did I do? I think last movie night, I fixed a leak in one of Joanna's sinks or something. I don't remember. I don't know. You guys probably remember more than that. End of month. End of month, yeah, the end of the month is when I'm, Wednesday. Wednesday's the end of the month. So yeah, Wednesday is the last day that I can be here. At some point there will be a transition. My voiceover studio, I have to figure that out as well. So I will be... Now, the good thing is now that COVID is at least under control if you're vaccinated, hopefully the recording studios will be opening back up. Many of them are. A lot of the voiceovers that I audition for, I have to have a home studio that's in good working, basically soundproof. Now, at the same time, the neighbors of these wonderful proprietors, they're putting in a swimming pool. So this whole week has been like waiting until dark to do the voiceover auditions, etc. Not complaining. He said putting things in. Okay, I got you now, Todd. Anyway, so that's what's going on a personal front. I hope you guys have enjoyed the interview. It's coming up on an hour and a half of broadcast. I have to go find some frozen food to eat, so and then move things around and put things into boxes. Yeah. I have so much crap. I have way too much crap. But the thing is, as soon as I get rid of crap, that's when, like, for example, the other day when I booked that gig where I played a doctor, I got rid of the lab coat or something, and then immediately, like, oh, hey, you've been booked as a doctor. Anyway, guys, it's good. There is more work out there. I just worked a commercial the last couple of days, like I said. So there is hope, and I will be fine. Everybody's cool. And I don't know, I suppose I should do like a plea at this point. If you'd like to contribute to the broadcast and the finding of a new studio, etc., you're more than welcome. But I'm fine. I'm in good shape. That being said, if you'd like to become a patron, we'd love to have you aboard. KevinlyFather.com. You can send money to me on the Cash App if you live in the United States. If you live in the United States, you don't have the Cash App, use that link up in the corner there. That will enable you to send me $5. You will get that $5 back. And then I'll get a referral fee of $5 or more. So all good things. Plus, hopefully, wherever I end up, I will be able to set up my sharpener, my skate sharpener, thanks to producer Debbie and producer Marcy. And I will be able to make money sharpening skates as well. So that's good. And Plagued by Society has nothing to say about that. And Stephanie just called her plaqued. And PayPal. You can send me PayPal as well. You send me Venmo, whatever you feel like. And guys, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I'm not trying to sound like I'm destitute. I'm not. I am, again, there are options out there for me, and all I have to do is pick an option, and I will find an option that's going to work for me, and more importantly, for me. And also you. So, yeah, I think that's the end of the broadcast now. I was going to show you guys something. Now I forgot what it was. I think it was just the news. I think it was just telling you about the news. Okay, I got to get going. It's almost 8 o'clock Pacific, and I really need to eat something. I've been moving stuff, so I'm hungry and tired and cranky. That's what causes white rage. Me. Hold on. Let's stick around a little bit longer, just in case. I want to see if there's any other. Oh, Brittany news. Come on, let's go check out Hannity while I got you here. Let's recorded 1 hour ago, so this is Hannity from today. There'll be coverage, I imagine. They'll start the coverage with
basement parking garage.
Yeah, the apartment collapse. I don't even want to talk about that. It's horrific, and we don't know anything about what caused it or whatever. But let's just run ahead here, and here he is obsessing about Brian Stelter. Okay. That's an idiot. I don't want to hear about that. Wait. What is this?
Relief.
Before the road.
Okay, that's not what I thought it was going to be. What I'm seeing here doesn't sync up with what's actually being shown when I click it. Oh, here's something about Dr. Fauci. Let's talk about Dr. Fauci. I don't even want to. I'm trying to give you bonus coverage here, but I'm not seeing anyone worth watching. Let's go to Laura. Let's go to Laura. Is it? Yeah. So Laura would be on. Let's go to the library, and we're gonna bring up Laura for you, Dr. Laura. And it's behind. Oh, that's the most watched. Scheduled recordings. Here we go. Let's start from the beginning of Dr. Laura. She's not a doctor. That's a
Laura's here.
Here we go.
Hello, Laura. Big show tonight.
Britney Spears. So we're going total national.
I don't. I hope Britney Spears works out okay. It sounds like she's fairly unhealthy, but let's find out. Yesterday, Laura was enraged at General Milley for saying that the university should study things.
The military's woke.
Hey, Josh, we're gonna wrap it up here in a few minutes, but I decided I would stay around and watch a little bit of the Ingram angle just to see. I wanted to, because yesterday she got so angry at the military. Let's see how she feels about the military now.
Makeover. That's the focus of tonight's angle.
By the way, General Milley was also a general in the Trump administration and was the Joint Chief of Staff.
Now, if you were chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and Secretary of Defense or any top military leader today, there's a lot that should keep you up at night, right? So put yourself in that role. But think about it. Most all of it is coming from China. Threats to our ally Taiwan, our strategic ally in the Pacific. China's itching to invade them. Threats from China's hackers and intel agencies.
There are a lot of other threats, Laura. Moving on.
Their growing presence in Africa. Plus, China's threatening us in space. But our current chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Mark Milley, is apparently...
Who was the chairman under Trump as well.
...spending a lot of his waking hours worrying about what he thinks is wrong with the United States. Now, yesterday, when Republican congressmen raised reasonable questions about whether it's a good idea to expose our soldiers to anti-American propaganda...
Expose them. Whether it's a good idea to expose students to education...
in the form of this critical race theory stuff, he just ended up lashing out, sounding more like a commentator on MSNBC than a military leader.
So what is it that caused thousands of people to assault this building and try to overturn the Constitution of the United States of America? What caused that? So it is important that the leaders now and in
I don't see how that's not a valid question.
the future do understand it. I've read Mao Zedong. I've read Karl Marx. I've read Lenin. That doesn't make me a communist. So what is wrong with understanding?
That just makes him a Beatles fan.
Having some situational understanding about the country for which we are here to defend.
Well,
Congratulations, Joanna.
General apparently failed to think through the logic and ramifications of his stated position.
Oh, really?
Now, in the first place, critical race theory is based on a lie. The lie that America is marred by racism in...
So is communism. So...
every aspect of society. And
LP just got here. Where you been? We're almost done.
Therefore, our entire...
He did say that he read Lenin.
...system must be upended and then remade. Ibram Kendi's anti-racism guide is the best known of these Marxist anti-American screeds. So why is it on the military's recommended reading list? Tom Cotton pulled back the curtain.
Because education's important?
Earlier this week.
The notion that capitalism is essentially racist and racism is essentially capitalist. That the only remedy for past discrimination is present discrimination. Admiral Gilday, how did these books get on your reading list?
So I chose a variety of books. There are over 50.
There's an important quote that they're leaving out there. I've read a little bit on critical race theory and on, what's his name, Kirby? I don't even know. Kendall, Kirby, whatever. Yeah, the only remedy to past discrimination is present discrimination, but non-discrimination discrimination. They're leaving that sentence out of it. So basically saying like the only remedy to it is to use racial discrimination in order to create an even playing field for everybody. That's what it's about. It's basically a defense of affirmative action.
50 books on my reading list to give our sailors a wide range of information from which I hope they can make facts-based decisions on both their ability to look outwardly.
Hi, Ann. Yeah, we're not going to be going for much longer, but we appreciate you being here.
At potential aggressors like China and Russia, as well as looking inwardly and being honest with ourselves in areas that we need to improve.
Wait.
God forbid that anyone improve upon themselves.
Think about that.
Yeah.
The troops are hearing that in order to be honest with themselves about how they need to improve, they then need to read a book by a guy who thinks America is inherently wicked and evil. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. It's important to take in adverse and opposed opinions in order to take yourself out of your own personal bubble. Sometimes we don't even realize how bad our breath is until the judges walk out of the room all holding their notes. I don't want to talk about it.
The message to the troops is this.
What?
Put your lives at risk for the USA. But remember,
yeah,
the USA is a systemically racist, structurally biased country. And by the way, you and your parents live on stolen land.
No. The message is you should read this book and see what opinions are out there and make your own informed decisions. That's what the message is to the soldiers and the shoulders.
Look, what top military leaders have on their nightstands, what they choose to read, that's up to them. But how is it appropriate or helpful to our young
LP, thanks for dropping by. Plans for tomorrow, we might have movie night. I don't know if we will. I don't know if you've heard, but I'm moving. So to Wilmington, North Carolina. So maybe movie night tomorrow, but you don't show anyway, so what's the point?
Military personnel just starting out to force this on them. How does it promote unit cohesion? The first thing we should be teaching our soldiers, our airmen, all of them, is that we're a good and noble country that is worthy of their amazing sacrifice.
Yeah, we've been teaching them that their entire lives.
Critical race theory.
How can anyone in their right mind justify this outrage at an opinion that is part of the education process of this country? Why are they so angry about learning things?
Sends the opposite message. And as for General Milley's attempt to justify the unjustifiable,
at least she called him General.
By noting that he's personally read the works of some of the worst villains of our time.
Okay, terrible impression, but she gave it a shot, so I appreciate that. Judges liked it too.
Big deal. Obviously, we're not going to expose our troops to every possible twisted theory out there. What's the
Is someone saying that we should?
Point of that? They're trained to be warriors in many roles.
They're trained to be warriors? I don't think I think that's a natural thing. Producer Joanna, were you trained to be a warrior?
I read the works of some of the worst villains of our time. Big deal.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to expose our troops to every possible twisted theory out there. What's the point of that? They're trained to be
education
warriors in many roles.
Warriors.
And they are among the finest in the world.
They are the finest in the world. Remember, this is America. How dare you offer an opinion that denigrates the American soldier in any way, shape, or form? How can you expect them to lay down their lives for this country when you tell them that they are not the best in the world, bar none? No questions asked. How dare you? Fake Dr. Laura. She's not Dr. Laura.
Reading Ibram Kendi will no more help our troops.
I want Ibram Kendi. Hey, Bo Diddley. Same song.
Understand the United States than Fidel Castro's writings would have in the 1960s. The reason that the military gave in to the critical race theory craze is simple.
It's not a craze. It's only on Fox News.
Because the Biden administration is determined to use race as a political weapon.
Oh.
And the Biden administration is enlisting the military to help them. Of course, they try to deny this and claim that anyone who
How? How are they helping them?
attacks critical race theory in the military is attacking the troops. Oh, please. Another logical fallacy. The non-commissioned...
Hey, you just said that the American troops were among the best in the world. Not the best. Among the...
officers, the enlisted...
By the way, your cohort there, Tucker, did attack the American military. Maybe they'd do better if they weren't busy reading critical race theory. They could win some more wars once in a while. That's my Tucker Carlson. What do you guys think? Oh, hold on.
Men and women, they signed up to be in the U.S. military, not for a never-ending racism seminar.
Is that what she thinks is happening? They're having a never-ending race seminar. You're going to be here for the rest of your life, soldier, so buckle up.
It wasn't long ago that Biden made this promise to our men and women in uniform.
You're incredible heroes and incredible patriots.
Yeah, okay. Correct.
I will never, ever dishonor you. I will never disrespect you.
Yeah.
I will never politicize the work you do. That goes for our civilian professionals as well as the career military.
Of course, that didn't last long. Less than a month later, the Pentagon announced the so-called domestic extremists issue, that they were the most serious threat in existence to the U.S. military, which we all know is code for purging the ranks of conservatives. So as China continues to build and grow...
like crazy white supremacists, yeah. But if you're saying that conservatives are all crazy white supremacists, well, you're going to have to take that up with them.
It's global.
You can talk to them about it at the next Klan rally.
Influence. The Pentagon chief, Lloyd Austin, chose to focus on white supremacists as a major problem.
Yeah.
Now, this is straight out of the critical...
As did the previous administration's people in the military.
The
FBI, the CIA, the Pentagon, everybody's worried about the white supremacist terrorists because they're a threat.
Critical theory playbook. But the denials, they came anyway.
Okay.
We don't embrace critical race theory, and I think that's a spurious conversation. And so
Is that Mark Hamill in the background with a headphone? That's pretty cool. That guy does everything. You know, he's the voice of the Joker.
we are focused on extremist behaviors and not ideology, not people's thoughts, not people's political orientation. Behaviors is what we're focused on.
Well, that's just not true. The military is launching an effort to monitor social media activity of the troops, meaning their personal political views and other views will be examined for so-called extremism, even if they do nothing illegal to act on those viewpoints. The fact is, too many in top leadership have forgotten the proper role of the U.S. military. They answer to civilian leadership, not the other way around.
Right.
Remember when...
And who's the civilian leadership of the military right now? It's President Joe Biden, who you just...
Trump wanted to pull our troops out of Afghanistan? Well, the top brass in the military, they fought him every step of the way. There was always a reason not to bring the troops home. And now, when you watch what's going on, they're even resisting Biden, pushing the narrative, of course, that when we pull out, it'll be another Saigon. They did the same in Iraq, by the way, despite public opinion.
Well, I mean, the Taliban have already taken over several provinces. That's happening. It's very likely that Afghanistan, the government in Afghanistan will collapse, that the Taliban will take over the country again. That's a very high likelihood of happening.
And despite stated administration policy. Civilian control of the military is a cornerstone of our entire system. If military leaders...
What does this have to do with critical race theory? What is she even talking about now?
...are perceived to be parroting partisan, again, MSNBC-style talking points, They're going to do to the armed forces what Tony Fauci has done to public health agencies. They'll hurt their standing and their credibility with the American people. So Republicans need to take all of this very seriously. Some already are, like Tom Cotton and Josh Hawley. The fact is, post-Afghanistan, we need a plan to make our military more functional and less political. Beyond reasserting civilian control of the armed forces, we have to eliminate all unnecessary...
Okay, so the Taliban just took control of the northern Kunduz province, which is a key province in Afghanistan. Let's see if this article has... Dozens of districts have fallen to the Taliban since May 1st, when U.S. and NATO troops began their final departure from Afghanistan. Yeah, this is what happens when you leave a country, when you're the military might, and the country's not ready for you to leave. This is what we've decided to do after 20 years in Afghanistan. We're just going to leave. And the American people support that at this point in time.
Spending. Cut everything from needless weapon systems to...
Did she not call him doctor? Good spot, Ann.
Pointless deployments to the hiring of any racial or gender identity consultants. Our troops aren't served by bloated budgets. Only the bureaucracy.
Well, hold on, because every time Trump talks, he brags about how much money he's given to the military.
The defense industry benefit from...
Okay, she's just... I can't with her. It's so grating. Her attitude is... it's beyond reproach. She seems lovely. She should smile more. Okay, kids, that's the end of the broadcast for real. Here's some closing credits. Okay, that's enough of the closing credits. I gotta go. I'm so hungry. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.